movie, HBO. For those, great movie. I highly recommend it if you care less about the livestock business. I think it's a great story. Temple is a fairly severe autistic, but Temple, because of her autism, was able to really revolutionize the livestock industry and even the packing industry because she thinks differently and can think and react to how cattle or livestock might react. And in reality, she started designing cattle handling facilities. She went in and said, what you guys are doing is just all wrong. You need to design things on again in more of an S type of design, solid sides. She's just come up with a lot of things that have helped on the humane harvesting and slaughtering side. She works with all the packing plants. She works for McDonald's as an auditor. She's actually designing a new facility here for ATI. It's going to be over across the road. It's all going to be a Temple Grandin design facility. She's a real pioneer in that area. But so what we've got here, and they've got is an older setup, but the concept is still the same. Everything is it's not a straight line. The cattle just move through this fairly nicely. It's not, they won't need a little bit of coaxing along the way, but they just kind of keep moving because they don't really see what's in front of them. They keep coming right on through, and they just keep working through this line without a lot of labor, without a lot of you're not going to hear a lot of banging and cattle. It's a very low stress way to move cattle through and handle them. Casey talked about at weaning time. That's when they would give the vaccines and when they would do the processing and castrate the male calves. This would be the area that they would do that. They would bring these calves in. They take a vaccination a lot like we like our kids. We give them. You take a vaccine. You get your vaccinations. You get your boosters. It's the same thing. We want to set the immune system up in those calves where they can fight off respiratory challenges, pneumonia, those types of things, that clostridial diseases that come along, and so we vaccinate the calves. If the calf is sick, then we get them in and treat them with an antibiotic. I think we hear that we just load these cattle up with antibiotics, and we do all these, we give them all these drugs. Here on the cow-calf side of things, very few needles, very few antibiotics. Those things all cost a lot of money, and you do vaccines for preventative, and then you do an antibiotic type of treatment if a calf gets sick or a cow gets sick and needs it, but it's a pretty rare occasion. So we do the vaccinations, we do the castrations here. One of the things, because we hear a lot about, and there's a lot of questions about implants. I'll pass these a couple of them here. We can pass them around. This is an implant gun. Okay. When we talk about that I hear people say, oh, you're giving them all these hormones and you're loading them up with steroids. Okay. These aren't very bonds. Okay. This is what those little the blue cartridges. If you'll look in there, there's about 8 little white pellets. And what this gun does, those are pellets of, in this case, they've got a lot of different products. Probably an estrogen, androgen, testosterone kind of blended kind of product in a slow release little capsule. All this kind of laser-like looking gun does is through this needle, you inject that right underneath the skin, back at the base of the ear, and you pull the trigger. It puts those 8 pellets right underneath the skin. Those are slow release capsules that just over time they release some again, estrogen, androgen, whatever implant we're using. It might happen here as a calf. We might give them an implant at say weaning time. More than likely, we'll do that when we get them in the feedlot. We'll give them 1 or 2 implants at that point. Okay. I think at times if you hear the media, it's we're loading them full of all these steroids. That's what we're talking about. Those 8 little pellets, far less than what an intact male would naturally have. So I always use the irony: we can't sell much beef to Europe because we use implants. They feed intact males. The testosterone, the hormone levels in intact bulls is far higher than anything we can produce with implanted steers. And so we're just trying to supplement those hormones to make the cattle grow more efficiently, use the feed resources we've got more efficiently.
Yeah. And it's a misnomer for the media or people to say they have hormone-free beef, because all mammals create hormones. I have hormones, you have hormones, and beef have naturally occurring hormones.
Great point of clarification. You see that all the time in some of the more aggressive natural brands that are out there saying they're hormone-free. They would have not lived very long. So, yeah, great point. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we've got a tattoo, right? Tattoo kit. We've been tattooing before tattooing was cool.